Now you may have noticed in the previous videos that whenever we entered in a vacation request, we always had to specify the total days as well as the start and the end date. And that seems a little bit silly when you're using a computer which should be able to calculate that number of days. So we're going to add in the ability now to calculate or show a calculated field in the form so that we can have the computer actually generate that total days rather than having to enter it in, where you can often get mistakes or confusion about how to calculate something. So to do that, we want to edit our existing fields that we have in the form. So we hover over the workflow stage where it's being entered in, and we click on the select input fields right here. This takes us to a list of the fields that are in that form that we entered when we created it. So the total days right now is just entered as a usual regular field. We're going to go to the end here and click on edit record. You can also click it and then click edit. That takes you to this form. And click on other field settings. Now in here we have a number of different settings. And the one we want to focus on really is how it's initialized, how it's set on the screen. Right now it's set to empty, but instead we're going to specify that it's a calculation, which means it's going to be calculated on the fly. So we click calculation, and then we enter in the value for the calculation into the default value field. So here we're going to put in a little bit of a formula. It's not too complicated. The formula is work days between, and then we take the from date and the to date. Very simple. This just calculates the number of work days, so it excludes weekends between the from date and the to date, and it'll put that into this field. So let's click update now, and we'll click quick publish to publish that. Okay, let's just refresh this. So now when we click on the enter vacation request, you'll notice that the total days is grayed out, and that's because it's no longer editable. The user cannot edit that field. Instead, it's calculated on the fly. So if I go in here and I select 19 to 22nd, it automatically calculates that that is 3 days. If I then change this to be the 19th to the 29th, it calculates it as 8 days. Okay. And then when we enter that in, you'll notice that it goes in as a regular field, as if the user entered it. So we have total days as 8 in the list and also in the form. So the manager will then see that and approve it or reject it. Okay, so that's how you add in calculated fields. And there's a whole section in the user guide on DBF script. If you just click on user guide up here in WorkflowFirst. Then if you just click search up here for DBF script, click on DBF script reference, and you'll see a whole section in here on how to use the different functions that it provides, how to create expressions and formula. There's a lot of different examples in here. There's a very nice basic examples list which lets you progressively learn DBF script. But again, if you're comfortable with Excel formulas, you should find this a breeze. Very simple to use. Not really aimed at programmers. It's really aimed at business analysts or people who just are a little bit technically inclined, but not as advanced as a programmer. Okay.